In this episode, we will meet Jennifer Williams, and she will speak to us about equity and inclusion in the workplace.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer L. Williams, and I am the founder of the JL Solution. The JL Solution is a consultancy that adopts a holistic approach to diversity, equity, inclusion, and intersectionality, or DEI+I, into places of work, and equips people with the options and tools to measure their words and their actions. In light of the disruption that COVID-19 has had on everyone's lives, as well as the ramifications that this pandemic has on the way that work actually works, my focus with the organizations that I work with has been on ensuring that they keep DEI initiatives top of mind, especially now. My commitment to the creation of inclusive spaces for Black and Brown people and women and members of the LGBTQIA community and veterans and returning citizens and single parents and those who identify with different neurodiversities plays a large part of the reason why I'm seated in front of you today. I'm also here to aid and support the work that your organizations and you as leaders are doing to ensure that you are able to get to the other side of whatever this becomes. In ensuring that you are doing your part to keep diversity and inclusion top of mind as you work towards re-energizing your offices and reopening your workplaces, I have to begin with a warning. Your business and its ability to survive this crisis is dependent on how you adapt and adopt the nuances of diversity and inclusion into all of your decision-making going forward. If nothing else, the sting of COVID-19 has brought into laser focus those organizations that are doing the work, that are seen as empathetic, and are ensuring that they're supporting their employees through this time. Today, I want to focus on illustrating diversity and inclusion best practices around how you can aid and assist your employees in being able to work better in this remote structure that we're currently in, as well as provide a bit of thought leadership around diversity and inclusion best practices for the eventual return to work. Before I dive into the ways that diversity and inclusion can be interwoven to ensure that you're able to maximize the way in which remote work is actually working for both yourselves and your employees, I want to be very clear. We have never experienced anything like this in our lifetimes. And so because of that, I want to be mindful that words mean things. You are not working from home, and your employees are not working from home. You are at home doing work in the midst of a crisis. Because of this, you cannot and should not have the same expectations of yourselves or your human capital as you did pre-COVID-19. If nothing else, this entire situation denotes the need to provide yourself a lot of grace and a lot of empathy for both what you're experiencing externally as well as your thoughts that are plaguing you internally. It's important to note that many of your employees, and probably many of you, are now juggling work as well as engaging children whilst they're away from school, keeping tabs on other loved ones, making sure that your elders are safe, and trying to maintain some semblance of sanity throughout. Providing your workforce with the opportunity to adopt a differentiated work schedule or being able to take leave as they need can mean the difference between success and failure as you're navigating this difficult dance. Inclusion also looks like ensuring, not assuming, that your employees have what it is that they need to be able to do their best work. Are they set up well with the internet? Is it functional? Are their computers actually set up for them to be able to do their best work? Would an extra monitor be helpful? Asking these questions as opposed to assuming that these things are already set up or assuming that your employees would come to you and ask is also extraordinarily important in this diversity and inclusion conversation. Inclusion can also look like acknowledging the onset of Zoom fatigue and knowing the pain point that this is creating for your employees. Continuing to be on throughout the day is difficult enough, and being on video makes it essentially more difficult to be able to take visual cues. And especially for women, they're finding themselves routinely talked over in these mediums. It's really important to think about the methods in which you are utilizing to have conversations with your employees. Emails still exist, phone calls still exist. Both of these continue to be options that should be and can be utilized and interspersed with Zoom usage so that everyone can continue to bring their best selves to remote work as this continues. Upon returning to work, offerings that continue to champion mental health needs need to be spoken about, and there should also be an effort to ensure that you are having these conversations with all of your employees, inclusive of those in the Asian American community who have seen very disturbing spikes of racist incidents, as well as those in the African American community who have seen COVID-19 decimate and hit them harder than any other groups. Now more than ever, having a conversation about going back to normal and returning to work also necessitates taking a step back and being very thoughtful and mindful of what work has become and what is necessary to ensure that your workforce feels comfortable and engaged, seen, and supported so that they are able to show up and do their best work and feel good about the work that they're doing for you and with you. Moving forward, especially in the space of the massive layoffs that have occurred across industry, it is important to remember that diversity and inclusion needs to be top of mind when you begin the rehiring process, ensuring that you are thinking deeply about the decisions that your business is making in regards to who needs to be hired next, how they need to be engaged, and how overall your business can aid in supporting them is going to be imperative to you being successful, now more than ever. Taking the time to infuse thoughtfulness, care, and empathy in the work that you're doing, along with adopting the tenets of diversity, equity, inclusion, and intersectionality is going to aid and assist you in being able to do your best work, and it is going to ensure that your organization is able to weather this storm. Thank you.